start recording. Connection available. Here we go.
From San Diego.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Soul Sessions and the craziness in our living room again. Is it on? Yeah, it's on. So, tonight we're talking about deconstruction of programming, of different types of belief systems that come when you're very religious. And basically the main question, we also might have the kids coming on here and talking about how they felt or what happened to them when we stopped going to the church. Hi, Sherry. How's that going? Do I have my bracelet? I don't have my bracelet. Sherry sells these amazing bracelets. So, a lot of us just kind of go to a religion or a church just because that's just part of the culture. But a lot of us are also not aware of how we're kind of controlled by that to a degree. And so part of kind of what we've been talking about here these past couple of weeks is how we got like deconstruction, the deconstruction of certain beliefs, the deconstruction of specific programming, that's what we call it. And we call these soul sessions because the reason that I got to that and kind of like the whole family was kind of pulled into it is because my soul was dying, exhausted by fundamentalist beliefs, exhausted by performing to be able to be either accepted by God or by people in the church or whatever, and not being able to say anything ever because then you're going to go to hell, or then you won't get invited, or you won't be a part of it, or blah, blah, blah. And so what kind of happened is, hi, Sarah. I mean, it was a period of a long time where we just kind of began to see, like, this isn't really working to a degree of transformation, right? And I'm not saying it can't ever. Maybe some people have a beautiful experience in their faith practice that actually creates a transformation journey. But what I noticed today, well, my question for you, like, you know, who or what is running your life? Like, if you're up there and you want to comment, are you watching this live? Are you watching this recording? And also, like, you know, comment on there. Who or what is running your life? Are you running your life? Is fear running your life? Is the religious programming running your life? Because when I was doing a little research for this today, we kind of started to thinking about how like the religious culture kind of sneaks into now a secular culture, but it affects a lot of, you know how in religion you're like, you have to be holy, you have to be perfect, you have to meet certain rules. What is this? Reinvent yourself. That's right, Sherry, reinvent yourself. That's what I'm doing. Yes, and inviting you all to come in. And think. Don't do what I'm saying. These are just sessions to think about why we do certain things. For example, I have a lot of friends and clients that struggle with body image or the perfectionism of having to do certain things in order to be great, right? And I kept thinking, well, maybe that also comes to a degree from religion, because you have to be holy, you have to do certain things in order to be a part of. And so maybe that has kind of snuck into, like, now people thinking that you have to achieve a certain look or certain feel or certain success in order to be in order to make it, right? Or in order to be good, to be accepted. And a lot of us are messing up half of the time, you know? So there's never a way to attain it. And so this guilt of, it's unattainable, is one of the underlying parts, I think, which is a problem with religion, I think. The second is maybe we're not digging deep and doing the transformative work need to be done to accept ourselves, to connect the body and the mind and the spirit. Because the church for a long time disconnected it. Think and cover all the way up to here with a bow. And don't enjoy your body and don't show your body. At least if you were a girl. If you did, then it was like you're one of those. Right? I mean, yeah, well, there's limits, there's ethics, boundaries, whatever. But to the degree that we can actually be like, oh my God, look at the bodies we're in. Are you awed by like your freaking lungs expanding and like the blood pumping through your brains keeping you alive, and the actual fact that we're like plants, like there's a seed and it grows and it turns into a tree and then it dies and then it goes back into the earth. And I mean, that's like, we're born this little baby, you grow into a toddler, into a kid, then you have teenager body, then you have adult body, and then if you're lucky enough to live your whole life, you're an old person body, and then you die. So it's like this whole cycle that we really take for granted because we're like, well, we got a ticket to heaven. I'll think about the afterlife when I'm about to die, not right now. And it ties in, I think, to being more alive. Like, how alive are you feeling when you're not achieving anything? How alive are you feeling when you didn't get that raise, or you didn't get that, success that you were supposed to get when you were young, or when people didn't show up for you? What do you need in order to have a soulful love life experience that's not out there, right? That's inside. What does that say? Oh, hi, Kelly. Thank you. Congratulations, Kelly. She graduated from college. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. And so, it's just a little bit of thought on programming. And also, claro, puedes decir lo que sea, Marisol. Can I say whatever I want? You can say whatever you want, because everybody can say whatever they want here. Bad words, comments. You think this is bullshit. You think this is great. It's fine. Just say it. Say whatever you want. Because here in this space, you can say whatever you want, right?
Yes.
And
Almost.
And so here's a couple of stories that got me my boil. And I'll bring my son in about a few minutes. We don't want to go too long. What time is it? Okay, we got a few minutes to talk about what their experience was when we ended up leaving. ¿Qué dice? No voy a mentar madres. It's fine, dude. It's fine. Hi, Chris. Hi, Chris Sheridan. See, all these friends from church that we don't really see anymore because we're now what? Unbelievers, heretics, whatever. This is so nice. On point. Yeah. Well, this is raw because, first of all, because I think it's fun, because we can, because for me, being in silence and drowning for so many years and pretending was really hurtful. And so if we can be of any type of outlet for anybody that's like, oh, Jesus, thank God. Yeah, I think about that too. Well, then here it is. And if it's not helpful, you don't have to watch. And if you don't like this, then, I don't know, go watch Netflix or whatever. But if it's helpful, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's good to have these discussions. And when Santi comes in, we'll talk about it. But the main thing for me was I was having lunch with a beautiful friend of mine who's this powerhouse of a woman who, they have all these kids and a beautiful marriage that ended up in divorce. And so, unfortunately, it was a friendly divorce, but they got divorced. This chick went on and she, got her kids through high school and, rented her own house, created her own business. She's a powerhouse of a woman, full of love and spunk. And, she stopped going to church for a long time because when you get divorced, then either one or the other leaves, or you don't really come back because you're not supposed to get divorced, or maybe not in all the churches, but in this particular one, yes. And so about 5 years after we met up, and hi Mirna, one of the comments that she said to me was just like, oh my God, she wanted to be spiritual again. She wanted to go back. She came into one of their group studies, and her main concern was, well, I have a boyfriend and I'm not married. I'm this guy. And they're like, oh, that's fine. No problems. But then the issue was that she felt that since her boyfriend wasn't all about the church, that she wasn't going to have a spiritual leader. And so my question for her was, why do you have to have a guy to be your spiritual leader? Why can't you be your own spiritual guide, right? I asked her, like, who told you that you have to have a guy to lead you? I mean, we hang out together and we each grow and then we're a team. But I don't lead him, you don't lead me. I mean, it's like, and for a long time, that's kind of what I thought too. Like, oh my God, if you're not reading the Bible 150 times a day and taking us to church because you're super early, then we're screwed because we don't have a man leader, right? Who has this idea? It's your own responsibility as a person, whether you're a guy or the girl, to go inwards and to know that the Spirit of God, it lives inside of you. That you don't need to have this leader. So I just told her, I'm like, why do you think this? Well, that's what they said. Well, who said? Well, the Bible. Well, who wrote it? Well, a bunch of men. And we don't even know really when they wrote it or who wrote it. Where's Mary Magdalene's book? And here's the thing. To give that responsibility away to someone, whether it's through the church or whatever, it's not necessary. Right? I mean, I'm like, you know what happened? This girl, this beautiful friend of mine, honestly, like, tears were coming to her eyes. She was like, I had never really thought about that before. Because we're just so, I don't want to call it brainwashed, but we're programmed to believe a specific thing. And I think we make God small. We make him small. And it's all really about to connecting with your the inner self, the soul. This is why these are called soul sessions. We're just working shit out here. I mean, I'm not like saying this is right or this is wrong with it. This is just my journey. Everybody has their own journey of faith, right? For me, it was just like, I couldn't stand the thought of her putting herself down because her boyfriend wasn't like all Christian, because then she wouldn't have a spiritual leader. That's the kind of programming that I'm talking about here. Wake up and smell the coffee. You are responsible for your own spirituality. Not the priest or your boyfriend or your parents or whatever. You're responsible for questioning, for studying, for sitting in, certain practices. Marisol, nunca dijiste lo que ibas a decir. She just said she was going to say something and then she didn't say it.
Amenaza.
Just say it, girl. Anyway, the underlying thing is that there's also, whatever, people mess up and people get hurt here and there, and I'm not, making excuses for myself or for anyone. Did she say it? She didn't say it. Hola, Marilo. Your mom is on.
Hi, mother.
Santi, ¿quieres venir? No, you need to come now because we have to end soon. Anyway, so a lot of friends have asked me, what about the kids? What about the kids? Aren't you afraid? Now they're going to be bad kids because they're not going to church or youth group, and they're going to come off the road, and you're going to allow them to do whatever they want, and that's not wrong. And I honestly, I used to think that maybe even 8-7 years ago. But, I grew up in the church, and it was still a disaster because you give all the responsibility to somebody else for your own spiritual growth. He doesn't have to. I think he doesn't want to come on. That's why I said maybe the kids will come on, maybe not. Because we have teenagers and they say one thing and then do another. So, now I lost my train of thought because somebody over there is arguing. So see, this arguing happened even when we were reading the Bible left and right every day. So, life is life regardless. I think it's just what we're trying to have fun here with. No kidding. No kids tonight. Maybe another day you'll get their perspective. Even before, I would always tell the kids, I would never, ever, ever want them to think that God was a priest or a nun or a pastor or some spiritual figure. We would go, I'm very much a believer in the experience of God. The experience of God is when you are out, surfing or in the ocean or up in the mountains, really, really with planet Earth and nature and where we come from, or with, laughing with friends or enjoying something that you just are in awe, like a freaking 7, 8, however many feet giraffes are. Like, that is the kind of experience that I think we miss out on when we identify God only with the priest and the church and this and that and the other, right? I mean, if that's where you choose to go practice and do your spiritual practices and that gives you comfort, that's awesome. But just notice, does it control the rest of your life for you to not feel 100% alive? Are you actually trying to encourage yourself to have these experiences of God? Do you go on retreats, up and hiking for 4 or 5 days? Do you sit in silence on a regular basis? Do you question where all this information is coming from and why we do certain things and why we have these certain expectations of society and why we're like beating ourselves up about how we look and how we how much success we have, because it's all part of it. I think it's all part of. What's that? Oh, hi April. Yes, April, for sure. And you know, I don't really think we were born to just work, pay the bills, achieve, serve somebody else, and die. You know, and the mystery of life is that it's a mystery. Nobody has it all figured out, right? You can go and pretend, and so you get into these dogmas, into these like, this is the belief system that keeps me safe, and you safe, and then you're just super scared. When we did the whole deconstruction process, it's scary because really you're programmed. And so you wonder, well, if I believe this. And my brother is so funny. My brother's a biologist. He would tell me years and years ago when we were like totally into church and doing Bible studies and singing in the worship team or whatever. He'd be like, Grisela, no mames. Like, really, Adam and Eve, really, you know, Jonah in the whale. And I'm like, well, no, I mean, I don't really think that, but you just kind of like, you're so programmed that you don't even, you're like, whatever, that doesn't matter. What matters is that we're all in community and we're all here together and we're all going to go have a picnic after church, right? Like, so this is the main question for you today is, are you thinking about why you believe? Are you going beyond and studying things outside of just what the church wants you to believe? Like, the whole history has been run by them. Are you reading other things? Are you going in the, it's called the deep web, not like the regular web, but the deep web. Oh, I got another text on the outside. Just post it on there. But that's fine. You don't have to. I'll reply afterwards. I know this is a big deal for some people, and I know this is hard for other people to be able to express it. And I would encourage you to really, and I'll post some books up here that are really good resources of different people that have studied this. I mean, even just science nowadays is mind-blowing. Not even nowadays. It's been for years. This is new for me. I mean, other people are way beyond what I'm doing right now. But this is my life experience. This is our journey of faith, and this is my what I feel like we can give now, right? How I feel like we can, I don't know, just be a voice, because people are so, I think, dying to feed the soul, but we're going, running, working, achieving, performing. Even in the church, we're doing this. And so it's just a matter of going back and saying, why do I give a shit about this? How is this working out for me? If I had 2 days to live or 1 year to live, would I continue to be in this? And what is my motivation? Is my motivation a programming and a dogmatic belief system? Or can my motivation be a mystery and a different thing that I can maybe look into? Because we're continually, as human beings, growing and expanding. You grow and you expand, and there's always more. You're never done. We're not done. We're never done. You know, it's a matter of, you work real hard, you can rest here in a little bit, but then you're like, well, let me dig a little deeper. And it comes to a point where, at least for me, I was like, oh God, this is so... Like when you're at a church and they're telling you, are you an A, B, or C? If you're A, you're saved. If you're B, you're never going to do it. If you're C, hell no. But we're A's, but maybe one day you can be an A. If you come here and you belong, you can be a... I mean, this whole manipulation of thinking that you're not going to be saved, that now you're going to belong, that's just what I'm saying is, think about it. If that's your cup of tea and that's where you want to be, and maybe that's your process and that's where you need to be right now, cool. But if you're at a point where you're like, this is really not making sense anymore. Huh? Maybe you can write me a text and I'll give you some resources to read. Maybe you can listen to other philosophies or ways of experiencing a journey of the depth of the soul, right? And I think it's very painful. It's been very painful to a degree. It's been hard.
Change is painful.
Yeah, but it's necessary. And it's so much better. Some friends of ours were talking about, well, why? What are you doing? Why don't you believe anymore? And I had to say, like, I have never felt more connected to the Spirit of God than today. I mean, we've always been pretty spiritual. We had to be. We went through hell and back when we were younger. So it's like the pain gets you to just surrendering into the mystery of the Spirit of God sooner. But it's now like, wow. Really? Like, they asked me, really? Why are you feeling more connected? But, I mean, you're going to hell. Well, whatever. I don't know, you know? That's, I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like archaic a little bit. I don't know. What's up, Christy? Woo! Preach, girl. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I love Christy. So Christy's in my yoga teacher training class, which has been very, very healing because, oh my gosh, it's all about going inwards. And as you're exercising your body, you're training the mind to be present, to be in your breath, to notice what I was talking about earlier, like just how amazing life is. Life is this magical gift. And because we're leaving over there and when we succeed or when we are saved in heaven and when we achieve, we're missing out on the here and now. So yeah, I think we're going to end it right now. That's 23 minutes. 23 minutes. Hi, Lori. We'll come back next Monday. And we're going to talk about pain and breaking it down. And why we avoid it and why we should not avoid it anymore. Because pain, when you walk in through it, is the way to freedom. No, I don't want to call it freedom because they all call it freedom. Liberation, to getting deep in the soul and to being okay with it. Because I know life is hard. That's why we all go to church, right? Because you think you got a ticket for safety. Well, it's not. It's not safe. Right? It wasn't safe for me because you couldn't say anything. Otherwise. So thank you for listening. Thank you for your comments, if you had any comments. I hope this is helpful. I hope it helps you to know that you're not the only one that has these thoughts and that is dying in their soul and that is crazy, because you're not. And you don't need to perform to be accepted by God or by anybody else. You are, I mean, it's inside of you, right? Embodiment, the incarnation, if you want to call it that. So remember to breathe deep and notice these bodies. Notice this miracle that we are here breathing and like pumping blood and doing crazy things like going on Facebook Lives and having fun. I'm having fun. Life is fun. And it's also hard, so I get it that it's hard. And we will see you next week. So remember, this was a question for today to think about. How is your structure of beliefs running your life? Is your life being run by fear and a belief structure? Can you investigate that? Are you writing that down? Write it down. That's your homework. How is your structure of beliefs running your life? And are you living for yourself or for others? You can help others and love others, of course. That's not, that's not what I'm talking about. You get the point, Are you in awe of your heartbeat, or are you just like scared and need a security blanket? Because
who knows?
I mean, who knows? It is kind of scary. So we're going to go back now to checking out why the kids didn't want to come on here anymore. I'm going to have to bribe them for next time because they have a very interesting perspectives, especially the teenager. She wanted out of that religious bullshit way since before we even were like thinking about it. So very intuitive kids. Some friends are like, well, the kids are leaving the church. Well, of course they're leaving because it's like archaic. We need better programming for them. No, you need to be real. You need to be able to talk and ask and express and do other, I don't know, just to be open, right? It's not, and be inclusive, not exclusive. Be inclusive, not exclusive. Have a wonderful week. We're going to cut out now. Bye,
Good
guys.
night.